Hi, I'm Hazel, and next up with me is Amelia Tan, co-founder of the 100% Project. Amelia, thank you so much for coming on our show.
Thank you for having me.
Quick background about Amelia. Amelia quit her investment banking job to pursue her passion in education. She went on to become a fundraiser for Teach for Malaysia, which most of you would have heard of, is an education NGO, which was really the launchpad of her new social enterprise called 100% Project. 100% Project is an education crowdfunding platform designed to connect you to classroom projects that are in need. Yes. Amelia, tell us a little bit more about 100% Project. What is your vision?
So basically, 100% Project is a crowdfunding platform for teachers. So the idea is that we want to connect people, the general public, people like you, to teachers who are in need, who need resources and tools for their classroom projects. So it's an online platform, kind of like a Kickstarter for teachers, where you can go onto our platform and look at a list of projects, pick one that you're really interested in or you really believe in, and you can basically directly chip in and fund that project for that teacher.
That's really cool. Can you give me an example?
So for example, we have teachers that, we have three categories of types of projects that you can actually fund. One is conducive learning. So basically providing the classroom with your basic necessities and tools, like better tables and chairs, a projector, better changing a blackboard to a whiteboard. So just to make the classroom more conducive for learning. Okay. And then we have innovative teaching projects. So that's where teachers basically want to conduct different kind of lessons that are a bit more engaging, or maybe after school lessons for the kids. So kind of like an English literacy workshop or even a coding class, you know. So they probably need extra resources to buy books or even tools and resources to support this. So that's another one.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And the third one?
And the third one is basically what we call exposure and exploration. So a lot of the schools that we currently work with are a lot of rural schools, a lot of kids who've actually never been beyond their little kampong, their little village. So teachers basically want to expose their kids to the outside world, and they will organize learning field trips to KL or even to universities, just so that they get inspired and to see what's out there. Yeah.
As I'm listening to this, I feel a little bit confused because coming from a reasonably privileged background, I'm just assuming that the government sorts all of these things out.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So basically, the government does fund school projects, right? But and actually, the education budget is one of the largest, right? But
I think second to defense,
yes,
if I'm not wrong.
Yeah. So the thing is, the government is doing these things, but it's also a very large organization, right? So that's something I think a lot of people need to understand. And you know, the government usually uses funds to fund a lot of larger programs, and so little things like funding an extra projector for a teacher, going very micro, it's really hard for the government to actually manage, in such a way. And I guess the question that we always ask people when they ask us this question, because we get asked this question a lot, right?
Slightly shocking,
yeah,
really.
Exactly. Is that, I think if education is something that we really believe in, I think we as citizens can play a role to really be more involved and to really work with the government to make sure things actually improve, right? And I think the community right now is very distant from schools, although a lot of us go to schools, but once we leave school, I don't think we actually have a tie. Not all of us. I mean, I've seen very strong alumni groups and schools that have very strong alumni groups. The experience with that school is so different, right? There's so much pride. The school can always count on the support of their ex-students and the community. Right. But in rural schools, you see a lot less of that, and therefore the performances and the access the children have, right, it's a lot lesser. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the community more involved in schools, to reconnect with schools, and to give the teachers a little bit more support.
I think this is brilliant because this finally puts an end to blaming teachers.
Yes, exactly.
And gives you a platform to, I guess, not just sponsor or give money, but also to lend a hand and do the right thing for kids these days.
Exactly. Yes. And I think what we want to do is actually change the perception of what Malaysians think about teachers, right? I mean, aside from blaming teachers, I think generally there's a very negative perception about our teachers and our education system. And I used to have the same bias, right? But after working in 100% Project, after meeting with tons of passionate teachers, you realize how underappreciated this profession is. How many teachers out there that work on a day-to-day basis who I think are unsung heroes, but underappreciated and not recognized. And basically, what we want to do with this platform is to recognize them and to show Malaysians, hey, look, there are actually a lot of passionate teachers in Malaysia. Because when I realized that, I felt a lot of hope for the country, and that's what we want to do.
That is really enlightening here. I mean, you've just shifted my emotional state from shock to hope. So thank you for that. You have moved from investment banking to pursue a social enterprise.
Yeah.
Obviously, you still need money. How are you monetizing this? How are you making this profitable for yourself? Who are the people that you have to work with to put something like this together? So probably holistically, just share with us, what is your business model? How are you going to monetize?
Okay, so we initially started off as a crowdfunding platform, right? So, and also because we're a social cause, we don't actually charge a mandatory fee. It's more of an optional fee that people can actually opt in if they want to support our services.
Okay.
Right, because we never want to get in the way of people donating to a teacher because, well, there's a mandatory fee and I don't want to donate because I don't want to give you that extra fee.
Right.
So we made it optional, and it's a 15% optional fee on top of the donation. So 100% of your donation does go to the teacher, but you can top up to us, right?
Okay.
And I think because we made it optional, people tend to actually just give us that 15% anyway, which is great, right? But I mean, what we derive from that is very little because, I mean, it is a volumes game.
Yeah.
But as we started doing this, we actually received a lot of requests from corporations that actually want to work with schools. People who actually have CSR programs and want a direct connection with school, but don't really know what they can do.
Sure.
And so they engage us, and we basically help them design specific programs so that they can actually work with the school. Because we basically want, when people have resources to invest in education, we want them to invest in the right place.
Yes.
So what we saw the trend out there is that when people think of CSR, they think of it as just giving money, right?
Okay.
But that shouldn't be the case.
Okay.
It should be a win-win partnership, and that's what we're trying to facilitate. So as you donate to the school, you actually get some business value for yourself as well.
Can you give us some numbers? When did you start? What is the transactions that have taken place? What is the amount that has come through 100% project? And what is probably one thing that you've seen come alive through this facilitation?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've actually been running since October 2015, and since
Beautiful.
then, yeah, and so we've actually raised more than 500,000 for schools across Malaysia. So from urban KL to a rural school in the tip of Borneo, and this is through basically Malaysian efforts, Malaysians at home and abroad really contributing to these projects, all over Malaysia, which is really, really uplifting to see.
Sure. So in a period of a year, you've got 500,000. What is a concrete impact that you've seen happen?
Okay, so actually so many, because every project
Probably something that you felt most like, wow, I lived for this moment.
Okay, so the feeling that I felt when, so we actually had a school from the tip of Borneo, right, in Semporna, called Pulau Bum Bum. I've never heard of this place. I don't even know it exists.
And if you probably wouldn't even want to go there because of what's going on.
Yes, exactly. And if you look on Google Maps, right, it's like at the tip, right, really at the tip, and it's like a little island in Semporna. And this school basically wrote into us, and this teacher presented his request in like a PowerPoint deck to tell us his plans, right? And he's got like so many ideas. And basically he told us that he was actually from the peninsula, and he got allocated to East Malaysia. And when we first arrived in the school, his first classroom had no tables and chairs. There was nothing, right? But the students there really wanted to learn. These were remedial class students. They were like primary school students. And so what he wanted to do was that he wanted to transform that classroom into something that he feels the students deserve. And he basically wanted to raise funds. He needed 8,000 ringgit to redo the classroom, paint everything, supply tables and chairs, books and everything. And he actually got it. We actually told his story. He's a very, very eloquent teacher. And he actually got the funding. And this funding came from all across Malaysia, even from abroad, to this one small rural teacher in Pulau Bum Bum,
This little tip of the...
So when I saw those donations coming in, I started getting goosebumps, right? I mean, that's the power of the platform, right? These teachers who before this did not have access now have access to basically everyone else who is passionate about education. And so when he finally received the funds, it took it took, I think, 3 weeks for the items to be shipped to his place. It was during Raya at that time. He's so passionate, he didn't even go back for Raya. He stayed there to fix up the classroom, so when after the Raya holidays, the students can come back to a new classroom.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
How do people trust you? How do people trust that you are the right person to give the donation to? How have you gained credibility in a year?
Yes, so we get asked the question all the time, and having come from an NGO, and also being Malaysian, I think that is one thing that Malaysians care about a lot and are most skeptical about when it comes to donation. Where do your money go to, right?
Well, basically, I think more the question is, how did you gain trust and credibility with your sponsors in such a short period of time?
Because we know that what we actually have is a transparency document. So from the very get-go, when we started this, we knew that we had to be very transparent, very accountable, because we're handling people's funds, right? So we actually have a transparency document that is up on our site. It's basically a very simple Excel sheet that lists down all the projects that we have, every single transaction, whether it's successful or not. And if we've dispersed the funds, there's a copy of the receipt. Where does it go to?
Beautiful.
Yeah, and also when we disperse funds, we never disperse it to an individual teacher. It's always to the PIBG, the Parent Teacher Association. So the school and the community can keep the teacher accountable. So funds are never, at least we can make sure that the funds will not get misused.
You've also garnered a lot of support from high-profile individuals in Malaysia in a very short period of time. How did you get the endorsement?
I think, definitely, we were part of the Magic Accelerator program, and that program really helped propel us and gave us quite a lot of publicity. But I also think that education is something that a lot of Malaysians resonate with.
Passionate about.
So I feel like this platform is a long time coming. Like, people actually want to be able to donate directly to a cause that they care about. And I think that's what the platform did. So people felt like there was a tangible, if they donate their money to a cause, it's very tangible. They can see that if I were to donate to a projector, I actually see a projector at the end of the day. And I think that's what drove the traction and people's interest in the platform.
I think it was really brilliantly done. I've seen the video and I'm really shocked at how you're able to pull so many people to endorse you in such a short period of time. I think it's really, really brilliant. Amelia, where does 100% Project stand in the next 5 years? What is it going to look like?
Well, I guess, in the next 5 years, we're looking at building a community, a stronger community where we can see people actually reaching out to schools and actively helping them, that donating to schools will not be a question where people will ask, isn't this the government's job, right? We get asked that a lot. And I think we want to shift that conversation. It's like, why not? Why not get involved as well? Because we benefited from education, and I think it's fair to say that it is actually one of the most important issues that Malaysians care about. And if you care about something, let's go ahead. And so I think one very recent thing that we're looking at doing is we're actually currently running a very big campaign. It's called the Big Give, where we're actually looking at sending specially designed care packages to teachers at the start of the school year. So after doing this for a year, we've actually received a lot of requests, and we've noticed a pattern of what teachers actually need in classes. So the idea is that next year, let's just send these care packages to teachers so that they can start the school year off with everything they need to conduct good classes for their students, right? So they do not have to worry about not having the resources and tools, and they can just get going and produce great classes for these kids.
I'm just so impressed because it's finally a time where service providers get the care that they deserve as well.
Yes.
Again, with me is Amelia Tan, co-founder of 100% Project. Amelia, great work. Thank you so much for being with us. We're going to tag her on our video. So be sure that if you do want to sponsor, you do want to collaborate, click on Amelia Tan and get in touch with her directly. Thank you again, Amelia.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.